Hello my lovelies, welcome to a new vlog that's a little bit different. I look a mess and there's a reason for that. I decided today to maybe bring you along on a different type of look at my life. You're probably going to be noticing that my breathing is a little difficult and I have to pause to catch my breath, especially when I'm doing longer sentences, and I probably sound really congested. So yesterday started my bad breathing day that usually lasts a couple days for me. It is not COVID related. This is just my life with asthma, weak lungs, and other breathing problems that I've had pretty much my whole life. And I thought I would share some things that I usually do to try and combat this when it gets really bad. And so this will be definitely a different type of vlog. I don't have any makeup on. My face is very dry, which is another thing that happens when I'm having trouble breathing, weirdly enough. And my hair is up in a messy bun. So we're just gonna deal with this look and how I sound. So yes, I still have my Christmas tree up in my office. Another thing, I'm super weak right now. I had to sit down because I'm okay walking through my house today a little bit. Yesterday, I needed to relax in the chair for a while. I made a scarf. I watched Avengers yesterday because it gets very difficult to breathe standing or walking around when I'm like this. This was triggered, I'm not entirely sure by what. I did have a bad breathing night where I woke up kind of gasping for air, which sometimes happens with me, unfortunately. And so in turn, it makes my lungs weak for a couple days, I have noticed. So yesterday was the really bad day. I'm a little bit better today, and that's probably why I'm able to film today. You'll still notice that I am very much out of breath. And I really wanted to film today, but an actual video, but I don't know if that's going to happen, so I'm going to try and do some prep work. So what's some things that I do? For me personally, with breathing issues, obviously some of these things might not work for you. Some of these things you would need to ask about with your doctor. I'm not a medical professional. This is just what I do sometimes when I'm having problems breathing. Something that is a given in my life is my everyday inhaler that I take twice a day, in the morning and at night, to help prevent asthma attacks. So that's an everyday sort of thing, even when I'm not having bad breathing days. Here's my purse here next to all my masks. Oh, this is my rescue inhaler that I have to take with me everywhere, just in case I have a massive asthma attack or like a bad breathing day like yesterday and today. I've had to use it even though I'm not super active. You never know. The cold air in the winter months can also add to this, so I have to have my rescue inhaler with me at all times. It could be pretty dangerous if I had a really bad asthma attack and I didn't have this. Sometimes if my congestion is really bad, which will in turn make my breathing bad, I'll use some other things. This I need to get some more of. It's probably one of my favorite nasal sprays because I hate nose spray and it makes me feel worse. But there's something about this that's like a 24-hour relief. I think it's from Walgreens. Yeah, that literally helps with the breathing through my nose, or just congestion in general. I have been very congested the last couple days, and I unfortunately don't have any of this. In desperate times, I have regular nose spray that I despise, but it will help somewhat, but in turn, it can kind of have a weird reaction to my breathing, so it's hit or miss with regular nose spray. My congestion was really bad yesterday, and my mom, actually, the lovely dear that she is, went out and just got me some severe congestion relief, just some sort of relief, if you will, for that. We also have this vapor inhale thing that is kind of interesting. This is the first time I've used it, but I have been using it the last couple days. Do all of those things work? Not necessarily, but sometimes teamed up together, they can get me going into a better direction of sorts. I also like hot tea or hot beverages in general. I've heard a couple people suggest that caffeine can help with breathing and things like that. So I have my normal coffee as usual, but I usually like to have a warm tea at the same time. I just made this little holiday tea, and it's nothing really fancy. It's just a warm tea. that I can sip on, and hopefully it can, help my congestion in my airways. And just, there's something comforting about warm, hot beverages when I'm not really sick. This is just an everyday type of thing for me sometimes, but it can just help to make you feel a little bit better. I will, however, say I do have this Breathe Easy tea. It says that it promotes respiratory health. Does it actually? I have no idea, but it's another thing that when I'm having really bad breathing days, it can just give me something comforting to sip on. It does have a very specific taste. Will I say I've noticed a huge difference? Not really, but you know what? I take whatever I can, and if it's going to be like a warm beverage for me to help me feel a little bit better, whatever works for ya. But I truly have so many different teas, hot chocolates, and coffees to choose from. Here is something else that you have probably seen me post on social media randomly. So this is like a pure mister. I'll put in the name of it. It's not a nebulizer, although I have used those before. I tend to have really bad reactions with nebulizers, which if you don't know, it's like a concentrated asthma medication dose, if you will. I've had really bad reaction with those. I usually get pretty sick, like I will literally throw up after using those, but I have had to use those in the past. So this is just something that will help with congestion, because it's always a combination for me. My nose, my congestion, my breathing, my lungs, my asthma, all of it combined. So this is just like pure warm mist. Soothed my lungs yesterday and today here, and as I said, can help with the congestion a little bit. So it's kind of like a mini little facial as I sit here and I'll watch Netflix or listen to music while I have this thing going. I know there's a lot of different types to these things. There's some that actually go in the nose. This one is just the full face mask, which helps with all sorts of breathing. I also have a diffuser going on my messy desk in my office right now, since that's where I am primarily in today. But so diffusers, a lot of people push them. A lot of people push essential oils and things like that. Now I'm sitting on my floor. So sorry, I'm very weak. So diffusers can be good for getting moisture in the air or humidifiers, but you do have to be careful because different lung issues or breathing issues can be different. You need to make sure that those things are clean so that you're not putting like dirty air, water into your air basically. And when it comes to essential oils, you need to also be careful. Everyone's going to be different, and if you have asthma or other breathing conditions, some people may have bad reactions to essential oils, so please keep that in mind. Check with your doctor or like be cautious of that. I have like tested out things slowly to see if they improve or make me have an asthma attack or things like that. So I do occasionally use essential oils in my diffuser when I'm trying to breathe a little bit better. My favorites is a Breathe Blend, peppermint, and eucalyptus. Those are the ones that I really like for getting some air through my nose, but I don't do it like directly like with my face over it or anything, but it will make the room smell pretty heavy. You also need to be aware that if you have pets, a lot of essential oils are not good for pets. My office door is closed off because of that today and yesterday. I do not want any toxins for my pets with essential oils, but it can help my breathing through my nose a little bit better. But as I said, you need to test it out for yourself and not just believe everything you read online about essential oils being a godsend, because for a lot of people with breathing problems, they can make it worse. So you need to see what is best for you. Some other things that I have to be careful of on a daily basis, honestly, but especially when my breathing is like this, cold weather can do it. So I've been avoiding going outside, but that's like been the case for the entirety of our whole lockdown situation. But with it being the winter months, I do need to take that into consideration. And actually wearing a mask if I have to go out these winter months or the cooler fall months has helped me greatly, because it actually keeps the warm air close to me and I'm not breathing in that cool air that can cause me to have an attack. But if I'm like this, I have to be extra cautious of that. Same with like heavy smells around like smoking. It's not good for me to be around smokers on a regular basis like this. It would be really bad. It would just make it even worse for my bad breathing days. Some things like dust can obviously be triggering, or just like really like heavy. And sometimes I remember in high school, like when you walked through the hallway and everybody smelled like Axe body spray. Sometimes walking through the halls in high school, I would hold my breath so I did not have a bad asthma attack because the scent was so overwhelming. Sleeping when I'm breathing bad. I usually always have 2 pillows, but they're kind of like scrunched down. However, when I cannot breathe very well, I have to be tilted up. It might be a pain in the neck or the pain in the back, literally, but to get a good night's sleep, I have to be tilted a bit up, not quite that far up, but a little bit higher than normal so that I can breathe a little bit better when I am sleeping, so that I don't wake up gasping for air like I did the other night. And still, sometimes it is better to be upright for me to get more oxygen down into my lungs. That's why yesterday I spent most of the time in a recliner in my living room watching the Avengers instead of like laying down in bed, because it's better for me to be more upright but still relaxed, if you will. And I truly do look like a mess today, but this is just something that happens too. I have very delicate skin at the same time, and when I start to have breathing issues, my skin will get very dry or break out and things like that. It's a fun thing. So this is just what I have. I also have a very messy bun. Another thing that is really good when I'm feeling like coldish, it's like a remedy that my grandma uses for colds, but I do it sometimes when I have bad breathing days. I don't have a lemon right now to show you guys. I'll see if I have any footage from vlogs or something, but it's like squeezing a lemon into some warm water or tea. Sometimes I'll do it with a combination of that breathe tea and some honey, and you kind of just like drink that and the pulp and everything, and it can really make you feel better. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but it can help. All about those warm beverages, right? I just thought of something else, potentially, depending on what you have access to. If you have access to eucalyptus leaves or rosemary leaves, peppermint from your garden, if you have any of that, that can be really good to put on your shower head and have like a very steamy shower. That can help with breathing. Also, it's going to be different for each person. If those type of scents maybe would irritate or cause you an asthma attack, don't do that. It helps me with the congestion and breathing a little bit better to do those sort of natural things with like a very steamy shower or things like that. I know there's also some, I have like a peppermint or like a spearmint bubble bath type thing. And so like if I take like a bath and you have some of those salts or those bubbles or something, smelling in some of those can help you breathe a little bit better too, in my experience. But as I said, everybody's different. Eating. I know that a lot of places online will give tips and tricks of things that you can eat that will either help you with your congestion or help you with your asthma attacks or breathing, all of that. I have not found anything specifically that works for me. In the cold realm of things, it's not really a cold, but it's kind of similar. Having like a warm soup kind of ties in with those warm beverages, so that can be good. I had some hot soup yesterday. Some people will recommend spicy things to clear out your nose, which could work, but may cause an attack in a different realm of things. No matter what you're eating or doing, I have to be very careful when I'm like this, when I'm breathing like this. I have to eat very slow because I lose my breath when I'm eating. I remember one specific time when I was hospitalized with pneumonia that attacked my lungs and it was bad. I was on oxygen the whole, obviously, the whole hospitalization. And anytime I would have food, they would bring me food. They would have to watch my oxygen levels like crazy because my levels would plummet anytime I ate. So I have to eat very slow, make sure that I'm catching my breath in between bites when I'm like this, because I know for a fact from that hospital experience that my oxygen levels just go down so low when I'm trying to eat. And I was on oxygen at that time and they went down so low. So a little scary. But then again, that hospitalization, that specific one, was I was in middle school though when that happened, and I'm 28 now, so I've been doing this for a long time. I'm an old pro, you could say. Back years ago, when I first started my ASMR channel, like the same year that I did, I got a lot of questions about why I sound different, or do I always have a cold, and I've made multiple videos discussing that I have severe asthma, my lungs are leak, I have other medical stuff I have to deal with, so that combination makes me sound a little different. Some people really like that, and I appreciate them greatly. So I thought that this might just be a little interesting vlog bit of things that I experience when I'm having these bad days. I by no means am this bad every day, but my life is a little bit different when it comes to breathing. And when I do have these days, I have to take it a little bit seriously. I have to take things like COVID a little seriously, because I don't even know what my lungs would do if I got something like that. Because the pneumonia was pretty dang scary when I've had that. So, another thing that I just thought of, a lot of people will recommend cutting out certain things from your diet for asthma or breathing or skin things. I've tried that a couple times and have seen no difference. So, I don't know. I may have to look into that further with my doctor or a specialist or something like that, but I have tried to cut out the common things that can cause worse attacks or breakouts or things like that when it has to do with breathing and whatnot, but I've never seen a difference by cutting out those specific foods. So I don't know if that's the case for me. I'd have to look further into it, but I know a lot of people recommend that online and things of that nature. Yeah, so I have no idea if this video will be interesting for you guys or whatever, but some days I am rather normal, and then sometimes I just have bad batches that I have to look after myself a little better. What else? Hiking. I do love hiking. Sometimes I don't have to use my inhaler. Sometimes I do. I always have it with me. I just have to be prepared in that way. It was like the same thing with like Disneyland. I went to Disneyland, and obviously you walk everywhere for Disneyland, but it was fine. I didn't have to use my inhaler the entire time, and it just, you know, it depends, and I just have to be prepared, and that's just, you know, that's my life. I'm also pretty good at like knowing my lungs at this point after dealing with this for such a time, and I know like the type of breathing that I need to do until I can get my meds in. It's weird. It freaks out some of my family sometimes if I'm breathing really hard, or, you know, but that's just like my normal life, and I learned a lot of different breathing tips. I was in choir for a really long time, and my breathing didn't really affect that. I played basketball for many years, and I just did like, you know, inhaler bits throughout basketball, but I was still able to play and everything like that, and I learned breathing through running up and down a court, of course, and then yeah, hiking is the same way. I don't often have to use my inhaler too much, maybe if it's a little cold, but hiking is one of my favorite things to do, so I'm glad that I can do it still with breathing problems. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe it was a little different of a vlog. Maybe some of my tips or something could help you if you have any sort of breathing issues. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, lovelies.